Hi, good day, and welcome to my video on 45 questions that I think will come in this year's integrated science exam. Now, I came up with these predictions about these questions based on students who have been doing past paper after past paper, and they've been sending me questions that they cannot, not that they can't get out, but they're not too certain of what the answer is. It's a little bit ambiguous. Okay? So I'm going to use that as a sign and assume that these are like the hardest questions that are in the past papers, and I'm going to use that as my basis for the questions that will come this year. So I'm not going to hold you back too much. Let's get straight into the questions, and I'm just going to move more focus on the question and the actual answer. Usually I go into details, but I'm running low on time, and of course, I'm sure by now, guys, it's so close to the exam, you just want to know what the correct answer is. All right, so let's start up. Prediction 1. This is my first prediction of the question that will come in the exam, right? They will ask what shape is the most streamlined, right? So let me highlight it here. They will ask what shape is the most streamlined or experiences the least friction as it goes through a liquid. For those of you all who have been going through past papers, I'm sure you came across this question. And I'm sure you tried to Google the answer, and of course, the results that came up were not straightforward. But I'm letting you know what the answer is. You're looking for this shape in the exam. It's a kind of oval that got stretched. It looks almost like a carrot, okay? But anyway, it will be easy to identify in the exam. So this is the answer for this particular question. My second prediction, based on what you guys are sending me, is this question. Prediction 2. What is not a useful application of friction? If you see this question in the exam, the answer is simple. A person going down a slide. I'm sure you came across this question when you were doing your past papers. Okay, so this is the answer for this particular question. Prediction 3. They will ask which is true regarding testing for reducing sugars. Okay, that's a key word there, reducing sugar using Benedict's solution. So I've noticed that this question usually comes two ways, right? Now, whenever you are using Benedict's solution to test for reducing sugars, both of these things are true. The mixture of the must be heated, or another potential answer is, at the end of the test, it will be an orange precipitate. Sorry, tight tongue there, right? I usually have problems pronouncing this word in public, okay? So this answer is correct, as well this answer is correct. Okay, so 1 and 2 are both correct answers for Benedict's solution when testing for reducing sugars. Okay, pretty sure you came across this question also. Right, prediction 4, this is my prediction. They will ask what energy changes take place in the boiler of a power station. Heat energy is converted to electrical energy. That's the official answer for this particular question, right? I've received questions on WhatsApp regarding this question over and over and over, right? So now you know the answer. Prediction 5. They will ask what processes are used in the purification of water, and you will be given a list of 3 items in the question: boiling, chlorination, and filtration. And they want to know which one or which of these are used in the purification of water. Now, I understand why students are confused about this question. To me, all 3 can be used to help purify water. But I think that this question, they're talking about the industrial process, like how the water company of a particular country will purify the water for the public. So it's more of an industrial application. I have to agree with that. When I saw the question, it really wasn't clear. So I'm going to use a little bit of, well, I'm just going to assume it's the industrial process they're talking about, because that's the feeling I get. And the answer is only 2 and 3, only chlorination and filtration. In the industrial process of purifying water, right? Well, in our country, it's Wasser, right? Wasser will do that. They do not boil the water. Only chlorination and filtration from this list is used, okay? So I hope that was helpful. Prediction 6. I predict they will ask how hard water can be softened. Well, the answer for this one is to add sodium carbonate. But sodium carbonate is also known as washing soda. So in the multiple choice, you could see sodium carbonate as one of the answers, or washing soda. They're both the same thing. So, guys, just don't watch the video and get a pen and a paper and write down these questions, okay? And before the exam, between now and the exam, learn off these answers. They will ask which systems coordinate bodily functions in the human body. All right? The answer for this one is the nervous and endocrine system. Both of them are the answer for this particular question. Prediction 8. They will ask which part of the body helps with balance. The answer for this is the semicircular canals, and these are found inside the ears. Okay? So, write that one down, guys. A question. I've been asked this question over and over and over on WhatsApp. Prediction 9. They will bring a question on where the correct center of gravity is. And they will give you 4 shapes. So I colored them. Obviously, in the exam, they're not going to be colored. Here we have a circle, a rectangle, a triangle, and a square. The answer for this one is the green one. Okay? You will notice that the dot, the center of gravity, is not... Well, if it was a circle, the dot is supposed to be in the center. The same thing for the rectangle. It's supposed to be more to the center, and the square, the center of gravity, has to be dead center. But for this triangle, this is not an equilateral triangle, right? It's more of an isosceles triangle. And you notice that the dot is closer. Well, if we were to turn this triangle around, so this part rests on the ground, the dot is supposed to be closer to the base, okay? So this is a very popular question I've been getting on WhatsApp, and now you know the answer. Prediction 10. They will ask what feature will an insect pollinated flower not have? So certain flowers are pollinated by insects, and some of them are pollinated by the wind. They're asking about insect pollinated flowers and what they will not have. They will not have a feathery stigma. Pollinated flowers usually have nectar and bright colors. They will not have a feathery stigma. A feathery stigma is for a flower that's supposed to be pollinated by the wind. So that's prediction 10. Prediction 11. They will ask, They will ask a couple questions on the electromagnetic radiation. As you all know, the electromagnetic radiation is a really big part of the syllabus. So here are 3 popular questions they can ask. And I've noticed people asking me these questions on WhatsApp. They could ask, which is the most deadly type of radiation? The answer for that is gamma. If they ask, which one is responsible for heat transfer, the answer is infrared. Which is the least deadly type of radiation? The answer would be visible light. So that's 3 potential questions that I think one of these will come in the exam. Prediction 12. They will ask what part of the fish does not, keywords, does not help with the forward movement of a fish. The answer for that one, between A, B, C, and D, will be the swim bladder. this swim bladder actually does not help with forward movement. It actually helps with kind of up and down movement rather than forward movement. Prediction 13, lucky 13. They will ask a question about a farmer adding lime to a soil. Why would he do such a thing? So you have a farmer and he's adding lime to the soil. And the question is, well, why would this farmer think about even adding lime to the soil? The answer is, because the soil was too acidic in the first place, and lime was added to make it less acidic. Now, don't get me wrong. Slightly acidic, keyword slightly acidic soil is okay. But you cannot have soil that is too acidic. It needs to be just slightly acidic. So the lime will take very acidic soil, which is bad, and make it less acidic, which is good. Okay? So that's prediction 13. Prediction 14. They will, oh Lord, correct this here. They will ask a question about a short-sighted person named Fladaki von Schweinsteiger. I made up that name, right? And this is the question they will ask on short-sightedness, right? If they ask what can be used to correct short-sightedness, the answer is to use a concave lens, not a convex, a concave lens. They could also change around the question. If they ask what is the cause of short-sightedness, there are actually two potential answers. One potential answer, the eyeball could be too long, or the eye lens is too strong, but instead of using the word strong, they could use the word fat, or they could use the word thick. So there are actually two answers for the second question, and both questions are based on the condition known as short-sightedness. Okay? That's where a person can only see things that is close. But if the object is too far, it appears blurry. Prediction 15. They will ask about the energy conversion. I have some serious spelling errors here. Give me a few seconds. All right. They will ask about the energy conversion in a battery-operated bulb. The answer for this one is, it starts off with chemical energy, then it's converted into electrical energy, then heat, and then light in that order. They will make, this will be either A, B, C, or D, but in the other, like, let me say C was the answer. In A, B, and D, the order of these things would be mixed up, making them wrong. This is the correct order. Prediction 16. They will ask a question based on tides and what is responsible for causing them. As you all know, there are tides on Earth, right? Sometimes the tide is low, sometimes the tide is high. What is responsible for causing the tides? A lot of people think it's just the moon, but actually it's both the sun and the moon. If you don't believe me, Google it. The sun is also responsible for the tides. It's just a lot of people don't talk about it, right? But if you don't trust me, Google it. Prediction 17. They will ask what type of food potassium iodide is used to test for. Starch. Okay? Now, a lot of people ask me this question on WhatsApp, right? So they send the question. And I was surprised so many people asked me this simple question. It would have been so easy just to Google this answer and get the answer. So guys, here's a little lesson, right? Before you start asking the answer and whatnot, Google is your best friend, okay? And I know sometimes you use Google and the answer still isn't clear. But after that point, you should ask your teacher the answer, or you could ask me the answer or whatnot. It's really helpful when you actually search for the answer yourself, because while you are searching for the answer, you will pick up other pieces of information on the way. All right? Just a little suggestion. Prediction 18. They will ask what, bad English, what is not. They will ask what is not an appropriate way to treat a burn. So let me say someone gets burned. What should you not do? Well, there are two answers for this one. You should not use ice cold water or ice on the burn. Believe it or not, you're not supposed to use ice or ice cold water on a burn. Using cool water is okay. Cool water just means water that just came out the tap, like almost room temperature water. That's okay. And do not ever use a dry cloth. You can use a very moist cloth. You see, the dry cloth will stick up in the burner. When it's time to pull out the dry cloth, it's going to make it even worse. Okay? So these are two potential things not to do when a person gets a burn. Okay? Prediction 19. They will ask what three things are caused by poor ventilation. There are three things. If a place has poor ventilation, meaning that air cannot come in and leave properly, there will definitely be a lack of oxygen. There will be an increase in the growth of bacteria, and those unpleasant odors will begin to build up. So those are three things you can expect when there's poor ventilation, right? So this question was sent about 3 or 4 times to me on WhatsApp. And I understand why students sent it, because I was looking for the answer on Google also, and I had a little bit of trouble finding the actual 3 answers to match up with the actual question in the exam. Okay? But I got it eventually. All right. Here's one that, this was a very popular one. Which prediction 20? I predict they will ask this question. Which of the following does not help the plant move water from the root to the leaves? It's translocation. I know a lot of students mix up translocation and transpiration. Translocation is more the movement of food that is created in the leaves of the plant. Translocation can move up or down. Transpiration only moves up, and it only deals with really water. Right? So the answer for this one is C. Write it down, guys. Write it down. Right? Okay, prediction 21. They will ask you, which out of the 4 choices are the best conductor of electricity? Right? So I know my wording there is bad, but I was hurrying this down. But they're basically asking, which of these 4 is the best conductor of electricity? The answer is A. Don't get me wrong. All 4 conduct electricity. But from these 4 choices, the best is copper. And I'm just saying, if they ask you what is the actual best conductor for electricity, like on whole, the answer would be pure silver. But pure silver isn't on this list, so I had to choose the best out of the 4. But I'm just saying, if it comes in the exam and ask you, and silver, if pure silver was on the list, silver, you would choose silver. Okay? So that's in case that question comes. Right. Prediction 22. They will ask what happens to water if you add salt. The density will increase. Nothing actually happens to the pH of the water. The water will not get more acidic or it will not get more alkaline. It's the density that will be affected, and it will increase the density actually. Okay? Prediction 23. What gases are emitted from a volcano? All right, so I got these. Now there are actually 4 things that are emitted from a volcano when there's an explosion. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide. Right? So there are 4 things that come out of a volcano. I don't know, I'm not too sure which one will be on the list between A, B, C, and D, but learn off all 4. If they ask you which of these is the most, which of these will be the most, like, will there be more carbon dioxide and water vapor, or will sulfur dioxide be the most popular gas coming out of a volcano? Believe it or not, when a volcano explodes, water vapor is the dominant one. There's more water vapor than these 4 below, than these 3 below. So believe it or not, right? Water vapor is the most populous gas in the explosion of a volcano, right? So just in case they ask, I really doubt, but just a piece of information, I guess. Here's another prediction. They will ask which of the following devices does not use a curved reflector. The answer is periscope. A periscope is where it's like in a submarine, and you use it to see above the surface of the water. Right? So a lot of students WhatsApp me this particular question. All right. This one was easy though. This could have been solved by a very simple Google search. They will ask, what part of the seed is this? You see this little part coming out here, sticking out of the seed here? That's a radical. Simple. Prediction 26. They will ask how land breeze is created. Please note the wording for this answer. Hot air rising and cool air taking its place. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. All right. Here's one that a lot of students were very confused about, and I have a good feeling they were confused because they were never introduced to something called the metal reactivity series, right? They will ask a question relating to the metal reactivity series. So let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. This is something you need to learn off by heart, guys. I can only show you this information, explain it. It's up to you to go and learn it now. All right, so here are some elements found in the periodic table. It has potassium, sodium, calcium. I'm not going to read out all. The point is, to the top, as you go upwards, the elements become, in this particular table, become more reactive. So potassium is the most reactive, followed by sodium and then calcium. Gold, which is at the bottom of the table, is the least reactive. So your first step is to learn these elements in order. So potassium, so there's a little rhyme to use to remember. Please stop calling me a crazy zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Okay? You can actually Google that on Google, right? And you'll see the same rhyme. Okay? Now, I'll be referring back to this table over and over, but I kind of made my own table here. Everything in blue reacts with water. Everything in the red square reacts with steam. Everything in the green square, rectangle, reacts with acid. And everything in the pink rectangle reacts with oxygen. Okay? So, draw it back a little off by heart, guys. I can only discuss this and do some questions on it to try to help it stick. But you need to remember this. Right? So, learn it. It's going to come. Prediction 28. They will say there's an iron ship and it needs to be used at sea. So you have an iron ship, right? And they want to use it at the sea. Iron, as we all know, if you just put it in the sea, it's going to rust. What metal can be used to coat it to prevent it from rusting? The answer is zinc, right? So just remember that answer for this particular question. Question 29. Oh my God, the mechanical advantage. I swear my WhatsApp is flooded with questions based on this. And I think I understand why. When you go on Google and you research this topic, there are so many formulas for this particular topic called mechanical advantage. And they write the formula different in each. It's really confusing to students. So I'm going to simplify this with an example. They will ask a question based on the mechanical advantage formula, which I'm going to abbreviate to MA. Mechanical advantage is just simply load divided by the effort. So example, if a person applies a force of 20 newtons, so he's applying a force, so that's his effort, and is able to, this is supposed to be lift, and is able to lift a rock of 15 newtons, so the 15 newton is what he is trying to lift, so that's his load. What is the mechanical advantage? It's just 15 divided by 20, the load divided by the effort. This question comes two ways. I think I have another mechanical advantage question below. The hard one. This is the easy one. All right. Prediction today. They will ask what feature of a vibrating guitar string affects the pitch. The pitch, right? The answer for that is the frequency. If they twist the question and ask about the loudness, not the pitch, loudness is affected by the amplitude. So there are two ways this question. Pitch and frequency are connected, and loudness and amplitude are connected. Okay? So it could come two ways. Prediction 31. They will ask what type of energy a swinging pendulum has. It has both kinetic and potential energy. In fact, it's a continuous conversion. As the pendulum swings, the kinetic energy is converted to potential, and then the potential is gradually converted back to kinetic. Right? So it possesses both types of energy. Prediction 32. What is the pH of the gastric juice found in the stomach? The best answer is 2, right? But a more accurate answer, right? The pH of a healthy person of the gastric juice is usually between 1 and 3. And so 2 kind of falls, 2 does fall in between 1 and 3. All right, so that's the answer for that one. All right, another popular question I've been getting on WhatsApp. They would ask what you call a mixture of chalk, dust, and water. The answer is suspension. I'm not going to go too much into it, but that's the answer. Prediction 34. What part of the body absorbs the water? The colon, which is found in the intestines, the large intestines, in fact. Oh, another question. My. This question gives so many problems. Okay. So, in this particular multiple choice question, they said there were 3 plants, right? And these 3 plants were initially placed into a dark cupboard for like a few days. The plants were placed in a dark cupboard for a few days and then taken out and placed in the sun. Below shows how they were placed. The leaves were tested for starch. Which of the plants would test positive for starch? First of all, right, let's go through the little formula here for photosynthesis. This is really a photosynthesis question. This here is the equation. Carbon dioxide plus water plus the sunlight, which is absorbed by the chlorophyll, will give you glucose and oxygen. Please note that when the plant produces the glucose, if it doesn't use the glucose immediately, it's stored as starch. So, for you to get the starch, photosynthesis has to take place in the first place. And for photosynthesis to take place, you need 3 things. Carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. The first plant, well, let's start off with 3. That's the easiest. You notice let me zoom in here. You notice the plant is covered by aluminum foil. So that's going to block out the light. Without the light, there will be no photosynthesis. Hence, no glucose, no starch. He will not test positive for starch. In 1, there's no foil blocking out the sunlight, so the sunlight can make it in. But there's potassium hydroxide in this container here. You see, potassium hydroxide is really good at absorbing carbon dioxide. So if you didn't know, now you know. So if the potassium hydroxide absorbs all the carbon dioxide around the plant, photosynthesis cannot take place. Hence, no glucose, hence, no starch. Only 2, everything is normal here. The sunlight can make it in. This, by the way, is a little glass container, right? The sunlight can make it in. There's nothing to absorb there's nothing to absorb the carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis will take place. So the answer for this is 2 only. All right, guys? If you didn't catch all of that, rewind the video. Make sure. Take it down. An alloy of copper and zinc is called what? Brass. I'm just saying to all the students, who sent me this question, I can safely say, you did not Google the answer. In my first attempt of Googling this, I got the answer. Okay? Right? So guys, please use Google as much as you can. Right? Google is your friend. Okay? And you might not believe this, but I am actually not an integrated science teacher. I am a maths teacher and a physics teacher by trade. Okay? So I just really enjoy science, right? So sometimes you don't know an answer and you message me thinking, I know the answer, but I don't know the answer. I go on Google and I do research, and I love researching and whatnot, and I get the answers, okay? Right? So guys, researching is actually fun. It's fun, right? Here's the hard mechanical advantage question. Okay. So this here, let's say you have a slope, right? And you're trying to push something up a slope or incline. Mechanical advantage is the load over the effort, or the length of the ramp divided by the vertical height. If they ask you what is the mechanical advantage, there are actually two ways to get this answer. The load is what? The load is 200 newtons, that's the actual mass of this, and you are pushing it at 100. So that's your effort. So 200 divided by 100 is 2. Another way is to take the length of the ramp, which is 8 meters, and divide it by the vertical height, which is 4. 8 divided by 4 will still give you 2. They can also ask you what is true about the situation. The answer is the effort is less than the load. And you can watch the diagram and see this in it. The effort is 100. The load is 200. 100 is less than 200. Okay? So, both questions were actually messaged to me on WhatsApp. And, well, now you know the ways of dealing with it. Prediction 38. What is fractional distillation used to separate? There are two answers for this one. It came two ways from what I'm seeing people sending me. Kerosene. Spelled from wrong. Yeah, I didn't do too good in English in school. I got a 2. I think I barely got that 2. All right. So, fractional distillation can be used to separate kerosene from crude oil. It can also be used to separate alcohol, ethanol. Well, they might use the word alcohol or ethanol from water. So, you have two potential answers for this particular question that I've noticed people sending me, right? All right. If a person is look at the fish in the diagram, so clearly, I don't even think I deserved that 2 in English when I wrote. If a person is looking at the fish in the diagram, where would it appear? This here is a refraction question. When the light leaves the fish, it will hit the boundary and the light will bend towards the person's eyes. When a person tries to watch the fish will not appear where it really is. It will appear kind of above. So the answer for that is C. It would appear in region C. Okay? Memorize the answer, guys. If the power in a circuit is 550 watts and the voltage is 110 volts, what is the current? Well, this is the formula you need to remember for your exam. Power is, but the I stands for current. Power is current multiplied by voltage. The examiner kindly gave us the power and he kindly gave us the voltage. So when you throw across a multiply, you will get a divide. 550 divided by 110 is 5, and the current is measured in amperes. Abbreviation is amps, or they might just put on E. Okay? Number 40. What is osmoregulation? This is how the body controls the amount of water entering the tissues of the body. Okay? Straightforward answer. Got the answer on my first shot on Google. Right? What part of the eye is responsible for sending impulses to the brain? The answer here is the optic nerve. The optic nerve, let me zoom in here, is to the back of the eye here. You see it here? Optic nerve. Right now, this is a good opportunity to draw back this diagram and learn off each part, because it can't come in the exam and it's part of the syllabus, guys. Question 43. Coming down to the end. They will bring a question on soapless detergents. Right? Now, you need to know some facts about soapless detergents. And any one of these answers could come in the exam. Soapless detergents, they do not form scum with hard water. They are not biodegradable and are bad for the environment. And they are actually made from crude oil. Right? So here are 3 things you need to know about soapless detergents. Write it down, guys. Cram it off for the exam. Oh, see, we came back to the reactivity series here again. Prediction 44. You will be given 4 metals and asked which one will produce hydrogen when it comes in contact with hydrochloric acid. Now the thing about it, metals usually react with acids, well, hydrochloric acid, to produce hydrogen. But not all metals react with acids. So let's see why copper is wrong. Notice copper is where? Copper is down here. For it to react with acids, it has to be in the green rectangle. Copper is outside the green rectangle. So is silver. So is gold. Copper, silver, and gold are outside the green rectangle. The only one that's inside the green rectangle is iron. Iron is inside the red one, but it's also at the same time inside the green one. So in other words, iron reacts with steam and it also reacts with acids. Okay? So the answer for this one is iron. So you see why it's important to learn off this diagram, guys? All right. Almost to the end. Great. Last one. All right. So my last prediction, you will be asked what the energy conversion of photosynthesis is. Right? The answer is light to chemical. So photosynthesis, you're already taking light energy and converting it to chemical energy. The chemical energy is the glucose or starch. All right, guys. Now I know our exam has 60 questions, and I only predicted 45 questions. I really believe that out of these 45 questions, at least 20 is going to come. I really believe that. Okay? I call it a hunch. So here are some tips for the exam that I think that you need. Some of these things were not covered in these 45 questions, but I could give you, I don't have any more time, so I could advise you what to revise to make up for the rest of the questions. 1, revise the 3 types of levers, right? You know the class 1, class 2, and class 3 levers. And including the type of levers found in the human body. Don't use just don't learn off man-made levers like pliers or pliers or tweezers or scissors. Learn off the different levers found in the human body, like the neck, the jaw, right? A person standing on their toes, right? These things are very easy to Google. Guys, learn it off. Take my advice. You notice none of the questions I did had anything to do with the nitrogen cycle. When you are revising the nitrogen cycle, please know the difference between fixation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. They're very popular in the exam. Know how to read an analog electrical meter. I did a video on this one already. The video wasn't dedicated to the analog electrical meter, but I was doing some multiple choice questions on integrated science. It was my first one, and I did an example in detail how to read an electrical meter, an analog one, right? And guys, please know your kilowatt hours calculations. Know all the differences, right? That's all, guys. Know all the differences between hard and soft water. This is so easy to Google. Just type in hard water versus soft water and get all the differences so you know it. And guys, know the differences between soap and soap-less detergents. I only did one question on soap and soap-less detergents. Learn off all the differences, guys. Okay? Right? Trying to remember if I forgot anything. That's a kind of trying to remember what I forgot. I don't know what you call that in English. Probably a metaphor or something. I don't know. All right. So, guys, I really hope this was helpful. I don't think I'll get time to make any more videos till September. So for those who have exams, good luck, guys. Study hard. Learn off these 45 questions. Do group studies with each other online, not in real life because of the situation, you know, right? So do your group studies and online group studies. Whenever you have a question, I guess you could send me some questions between now and the 4th of August, but Google it first and do your own research first, because usually my WhatsApp is flooded with questions, right? But good luck, guys, and don't stress too much, and the day before the exam, try to get a good sleep, right? Don't go cramming until the morning. You're just going to be disoriented the next day. All right, guys, take care, good luck, and, well, leave your comments below.